Hello, hello, my dears, and welcome to this session at this new time. And we're starting this week with our conversation with Cassiel. And Cassiel is an angel who difficult to approach. Let's be real. We come to Cassiel when we are in anguish. We don't come to Cassiel when we have life's little problems or small things we think will go by next week. We come when we are awake through the dark hours of the night. We come to Cassiel and we're on our knees because we have nothing left. We can't stand. And if we're not crying, then perhaps it's not our time. And this describes the barrier to opening our third eye. Yeah. The barrier is the final knocking over of deeply held crises, of deeply held personal pain, of situations that seem so vastly bigger than us that there's no way through, of impossibly unsolvable problems that are personally so deeply felt that perhaps no one else will understand. Perhaps you're all alone in it. And for sure you're all alone in it because it's the middle of the night, right? This is the 2 o'clock. This is the 3 o'clock. This is, in fact, those last moments before the light comes. This is everyone else is asleep and comfortable and warm, and you're awake and in pain. So I say again, it's difficult to come to Cassiel. But when we ask and remember that we're not on our own, that's where we find him. Where we remember that when we're there in the dark times, he's with us. That's where we remember. And so if you've ever had that moment of feeling profoundly alone in your pain, what I'd ask you to do is to remember that that's the time you can ask, or you can always ask, he'll always come. But the connection that you forge at that moment is unshakable. It becomes this unshakable chain. But when we're profoundly deep in pain in our tears, it's so difficult to remember that we're not on our own. It's so difficult because we feel that the problem is life-threatening in some way, threatening to us, and it threatens our capacity to live in our lives, this problem. And the tears that we cry and the anguish that we feel and the wakefulness when we would normally be asleep are the gateways, the being humbled, the absolute breaking down of what we thought who we were is the gateway that lets us really connect and bring the foundation that we've been working on all the way through. So one of the aspects of Cassiel, we found our alignment when we were working with Michael, that deep, long, tall spine that only happens when we sit really firmly on our sits bones. Now we can, the looking out from the third eye is, it's not straight ahead. Our eyes kind of give us this kind of vision. But with our third eye, we become this sensing of the energy around us that is all encompassing. We're capable of being this sighted presence. We're perceiving the fabric of reality itself, and indeed the fabric of the unsourced, the before reality itself, right back to the 0 point of all things. So if we just breathe for a minute, let's bring the breath that we'll work with. And it is a breath where we're going to breathe as we have done in the past. It's going to be a triangle breath. So an inhale and an exhale. But this time we won't be working with counting. We'll simply be working from the place that as we inhale in the finest, slowest, quietest way we can. And we're literally breathing in the room around us. And then as we hold the breath that we've drawn in, we're holding the room around us, inside ourselves. And then as we breathe out with our gently open mouth and our tongue gently in, just sitting lowly in the mouth, we don't even breathe it out. We let the room reform around us as the breath so gently leaves us. And on the next inhale, we draw even further. We draw our whole, if we're in a house, we draw the whole house in with this breath. We feel the fabric of the universe condensing within us. We hold it on the inhale, this room inside us. And then with the quietest, finest breath, we just gently allow again the room to settle as we breathe out. On this inhale, we'll breathe in the whole of the place, the widest possible place that we can define for ourselves. Perhaps it is the city, perhaps it is the country that we live in. We draw it all the way in. The fabric that stretches from here where we sit to all the very edges of that we imagine, drawing in. We hold it inside us. And then as we breathe out, we gently release and allow again everything to settle. On this inhale, breathe in the whole of the earth herself. All of the vastness of the Mother Goddess. We breathe her in. We hold her loving presence inside ourselves. And as we breathe out and just allow her again to settle, we notice that a little bit of us is through every part of her, and a little bit of her is through every part of us. We breathe in this time the solar system, the sun and all the beautiful planets, the majesty of the Father God, the reverence of the solar presence. We bring all of that inside us, all of the planets. Just hold in your mind's eye now the solar system inside yourself. And as you breathe out, allowing everything to settle, just notice a little part of that is still inside you. A little part of you is now inside every part of the solar system. Breathing in now, we breathe in the whole of the galactic central sun of all suns, and all of the associated galaxies and cosmic entities and planets, all of the stars and moons, all of the comets, the dust storms, all of that comes in. From every point in the cosmos is now inside, and we hold that gently and with so much love, with so much adoration and reverence, respect. And then gently as we breathe out, notice how a little bit of all of this is now inside us. And a little bit of that is now all of us inside and outside. Breathing in again, we now hold all aspects of antimatter and matter. The darkest of dark, the lightest of light, the extreme duality and opposition. We hold this inside us and we balance. We neither push out nor pull in. We neither reject or put something over the other. We hold balance. And then as we release, notice now how everything in us is balanced. Breathing 1 or 2 more times. And just allow now your presence to just circulate around your widest possible perception of yourself, the physicality of your body indeed, the deepest aspects of the physicality of your body, the tiniest, most microscopic parts. And then also notice the macroscope, the macrocosmic parts, the most enormous parts of you, the vastest, largest parts of yourself. And just notice how the microcosm and the macrocosm begin and end in each other. There is no fighting here. There's no pushing away, pulling apart. There's balance. Inhaling, exhaling, and just take your hands and just warm them up and just hold your hands in front of your face for a moment and just warm your face, warm your eyes. And just gently open your eyes again. And that is the beginning of our work with the third eye. The recognition, this is the point where our microcosm, our humanness, our everything insideness, our withinness, first meets the withoutness and meets it here at a balanced point, at a point where we can recognize that nothing is smaller or bigger than anything else. It is all the same. It all comes from the same substance. It all is the same stuff, and I am all that same stuff. And Cassiel helps us to recognize and be with that feeling through its steadfastness. So he brings both, and I've got 2 beautiful crystals here for you, the white agate and the black obsidian. And can you see how those 2 just so beautifully, one makes the other shine. The dark makes the tip of the white highlights, in fact, the beautiful round sheen of the black. And it's this holding, so the alpha and omega of it, the beginning and end of it, the 1 0 of it to make 10. This is Cassiel's energy. And once we can and understand that sometimes in those very difficult situations that feel like they're outside of ourselves, again, the macrocosm outside of us, we begin to understand that we've actually called that situation to us for the growing into it of it. So it feels like that which we most would hate to happen, that which we would most want to resist, is what we're actually most calling to us. So there's a magnetic pulling in of this vast situation that's outside of our control. And we're doing it in order to feel our ability to actually recognize that we can be the eye of the storm. So the storm can rage, and inside the storm, we can be the serene, quiet, settled place. And we can recognize that macrocosmically, there's a lot going on. There's all these potentially events going on, but inside we feel balanced here. So if we're thinking about that third eye, we're just going to find it again, and we're just going to draw to find it physically, the touch point. Just run your fingers down from your hairline in the middle of your forehead and just look for a little dip somewhere down the center line. You find a little dip? Yeah, okay, good. So just find that little dip and just rest. And just what you're going to do is you're not tapping, you're pulling the fingers away from that place, and you're looking for that last moment where the touch point is. So it's almost as if there's a glue, if you like, a stretch. It's as if perhaps you have a little bit of tacky glue on your fingertips and on your skin, and you're just looking for that feeling of the stretch of the energy. Just do that a couple of times. And we're going to look for the same feeling here, and it's just sort of somewhere just above and behind. Where is it? Just above the ears, just slightly behind. Can you see where the fingertips are? Okay. And again, we're going to do the same thing. So we're not tapping, we're lifting and pulling, and we're feeling that sense of the energetic connection between the fingertips. I'm going to find one more pot, just here, right at the hairline. And then here, right at the back of the head, where the skull meets the back of the neck, the top of the neck, just underneath there. And again, we're going to just feel that energetic. We're just using now our own energetic connections just to wake up that third eye point. And of course, when we're touching here in the physicality of it, the energetics are through and between, but there are physical touch points that we can help use to wake up. So now just close your eyes again and just roll your eyes up to look in that space. And in fact, again, just take your fingertips and touch that dent that you found. And now look at the space where your fingertips are, and just pull the fingertips away and keep looking at the space. The eyes are rolled in and up. Now there's a space also where the monks have their ponytails. So if you touch that right at the back, it's opposite the touch point at the front. And again, now stretching between those 2 points. The eyes are rolled in and up and looking all the way back at the stretching of the energy. And just for a moment, just without any touch points, now rolling eyes in and up and back. Just feel for a moment and observe what you see. And when I say see, it's more, some people might see colors, some not. Some people might see images, some not. That's not so important. What's important is the sense of spaciousness, the sense of being both inside and outside at the same time. So the sense that your physical perception has now moved from just what is in the body or touching the body to being indeed the whole of the room around you. So you're inhabiting the room now, and your energy is able to be perceptive of, aware of, involved with, appreciating the textures of the room. Just breathing in and out, and open your eyes again. And we're just looking always in the session to just awaken and go deeper. And the deeper sense is the capacity to be deeply, deeply within, and at the same time aware in the finest possible sense as far as the mind can reach. So those two things are true at the same time. There isn't a denial or a invalidation of what's within, because we can only be and observe and contemplate what's without once we have that structure. So this is why the 5 and the 6. So with Michael we had the 5, we had the microcosm, and now we add the 6, and the 6 is built on the fullness that we've achieved with the 5, on the fullness of our microcosm, on the acceptance of our own inner truth, and then a willingness to shed that truth, shed through the difficult moment, shed through the dark passage, to find ourselves as part of all of it. So that is going to be the way that we find ourselves through this. Oops, a daisy, sorry. So just take a moment and just, again, go deeply, deeply inside, eyes going in and up. Onto that central point. And now connect even more deeply. And just as you do, spend time just structuring yourself. So this is sitting very, very firmly down into the sit bones, lifting through the crown of the head, releasing the shoulders. And let the head float. So just do a couple of moments to find that sense of almost as if the head now can find its own place to settle that is less habitual. And again, deeply within, all of within, personal, valued and valuable, meeting with all that is without. Breathing and releasing. So the way to fully open ajna is to find that deep sense of balance for the head on a fully tall, elongated, aligned structure. So let's begin with that deep, settled sense of self. Add in now the sense of the waters of the body being fluid and at ease. So just a beautiful sense of the infinity symbol just weaving in and around the breath and the waters of the body. The whole of the system fluid and adjusting. So you might find that as you feel into the alignment of the body, that the body begins to make some alignments, adjustments, releasing some places, recontemplating others. And let's find again that triple breath. So the inhale that brings us all the way in, the holding of the breath, and then that very soft release through the mouth. And every time you release, just ask to be more and more relaxed and quieter in your internal view. Every inhale, feeling the lightness and brightness of the whole system. Awareness now of the diaphragm as the steadiness of the breath. Allowing the fire of awareness to move upwards, outwards. Keep that softening. The spaciousness at the heart chakra. So feel the heart open, soften, release, release, release. To the throat chakra, to Vishuddhi. Just feel now, just with a little, make a little ocean breath, a little tightening at the back of the throat. And now, here we are at Ajna, at our third eye, our woman's intuition, where the three branches of the nervous system unite. So feel here, eyes turning inward and upward, sensing all of the touch points. That little divot in the center of the forehead, the hairline touch. Feeling the touch is just above both ears, the touch at the very base of the skull, and the touch where the monk would wear their ponytail. And just allow now the energy to send itself inward and outward. And Cassiel, Cassiel, Cassiel. Allow me to hold the balance of my own duality, to honor both the feminine and the masculine, to love and adore the Reverend Father, to respect and honor the Sacred Mother. And here at this still, quiet point, this point where both meet and dissolve in each other, allow me to disappear too. Allow all of the storms that I hold to be true to dissolve. The pain that I hold to release. The deeply held structures in me that no longer serve me, I ask you to sweep away. So that you might provide now a new structure for me, a new way of perceiving, where I remember that I am part of it all. Indeed, I am all of it all, and all of it all is me. With every breath I take, I ask you to remind me of that. And breathing in, just allow the smallest of small parts to be the largest of all things. Allow the furthest speck of the galaxy to be the central part of you, and the central part of you to return to the furthest speck of the galaxy. Allow the storms that travel the sun's surface to be the smallest warm circle in a cup of tea. Let things that ravage the ice storms gently settle like a feather as it floats in the breeze. All that is out there is this lovingness of creation, this curiosity of substance, this dissolving of all things and reforming in a moment, where nothing becomes everything and you reform yourself from that nothing. So you come here afresh. That which you have deeply held, release, 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 it serves you not. And allow yourself now with two empty hands, cups to form a bowl. Feel that bowl filled with divine loving energy in this moment. You can't offer the bowl if your hands are grasping tight. Allow now all of the loving wisdom that you seek and desire to fill this bowl. The perceptions of what might be, the perceptions of what were, past, present, and future, are all here. With Cassiel's help, allow all of this now to wash through you so that you are in touch with it all, in tune with it all. And let now the radiance of yourself shine with his bright silver white light, even as he holds the shadow of you in his glorious bronze rays. For you are both the light and the shadow, neither one nor the other more or less important. Holding now the entirety of you, all the broken, failing, anguishing, painful, distraught parts of you, and cherish them as perfection. And in this, feel the eye of the storm, dissolving all in front of it. Here you are, perfected, Alpha to Omega. Here you are. Here you are. Microcosm meets macrocosm. And just breathe for a moment and just again take a full review of self as you would see self in this moment. Allow all of yourself to be present, to be honored, to be held, and to deeply acknowledge that after the tears, my insight is clear. Cassiel, 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 thank you for leading us through this, the eye of the needle, and bringing us to the other side, where we have the serene, peaceful horizon, where we see to all of the very ends of the very ends of what is. and see ourselves as a beautiful fractal part of that whole. Thank you. And so it is.